Good evening, everyone. So, this is your Task-2 Python developer class. So, first of all, I'll give you the description and responsibility of your Task-2. So, your description is the intern will explore basic data analysis using the pandas library in Python, and your responsibility is learn how to read CSV file and manipulate data frame using pandas, and you have to perform simple data cleaning tasks such as handling missing values and removing duplicates, and you have to practice some basic data manipulation operations like filtering, sorting and grouping data. Okay, so this is basically your description and responsibility of your task. So now I'm going to show my Jupyter screen and will show you your task 2 code. So here is your task 2 code. Okay. So basically your first task is to import the pandas library into your Jupyter notebook. So you have to import pandas as PD. This is the syntax. So basically pandas library is a basic library that we have to import every time for doing anything in the Jupyter notebook. It contains the basic inbuilt function which is import, describe, type, read, CSV, etc. So your second task is to load a CSV file into your Jupyter notebook. What CSV file? CSV file is that data set, that Excel file you have to load into your Jupyter notebook so that you can work in that Jupyter file. Okay. So for importing, you have to make a new variable name. Here I have taken data. Then equals to pd dot underscore pd dot feed underscore CSV function you have to use. Then in between the parentheses and in between the parentheses and in between the inverted commas, you have to mention the location part of your CSV file. Okay, so how to copy and paste the location part of your CSV file? You have to go in the downloads part. Okay, you have to go in the downloads part where your file is downloaded. Then you have to click here right, and you have to go to the properties part. Then you have to, this kind of page will going to be occur in your screen. Then you have to copy this location part and you have to paste it here. Okay, and don't forget to add double slashes in between. After downloads also you have to use double slash, and between these location also you have to add the double slashes. Okay, then you have to copy this title part. Okay, then you have to copy that title part. Yes, this title part, and you have to paste it here, and don't forget to add .csv in the end. Okay, so this is how you can load a CSV file into your Jupyter notebook. You have to make a new variable here data, then you have to use pd.read underscore CSV function, and in between the parentheses and in between the inverted commas you have to copy first this location part. Okay, this location part, then you have to use double slashes in between. Then you have to copy and paste this data, this title part, and don't forget to add .csv in the end. So this is how you can load a CSV file into your Jupyter notebook. Now we'll use some of the function for analyzing our data set. So first function is here type. So it will show you, the type function will show you the type of your data set. So type of your data set is, you have to call your variable here in between parentheses. Okay. Then the type of your data set is pandas.co.frame.data frame. Okay. Now another function is the info function. Basically, info function will give you the concise summary of your data set. What is the meaning of concise summary? It will show you the column names and some of the rows, top 5 or bottom 5 rows, and how many rows and how many columns are present in our data set. So 324 rows and 23 columns are present in our data set. Now we'll use another function which is describe function. So basically this describe function will tell you the descriptive statistics of your data set. Okay, like what is the count, min, std, min, 25%, 50, 75% max of your each column. So why kappa column mean is this, separate column mean is this. So this is how it will give you the descriptive statistics of your data set. Okay, then Till here we have analyzed our data set, okay, by using the import, describe function, type function. Now our first step is to clean our data set. So first step for cleaning our data set is to remove the duplicate rows. So you have to use drop underscore duplicates function to remove duplicate rows from your data set. Okay. So by using this function, here is your result. In this, all the duplicate rows are deleted. So how can you see that? See here, 324 rows were before. Now the rows is reduced by the number of 301. Okay, so it means duplicate rows is removed from your data set. Now your second cleaning method first is to check whether there are null values present or not, and if there are null values present, then you have to handle it. This is the second method for cleaning your data set. So basically, what is null values first? Okay, so what is null values? Null values is basically the empty values where there are no values present. Okay, so this non value is your null values, empty values in your data set. So for checking this, you can use is null function. Okay, is null function will give you answer in the boolean form, which is in true or false form. So it will show you false if the value is not null, and it will give you true if your values are null. Okay, so is null method we can use for checking the null values. Also by using the is null dot sum function, this is the most appropriate function. Okay, by using the is null dot sum function, you can see that how many null values are present in your particular column. So it will show you that 0 null values is present in your y kappa observation column, and 4 null values are present in your chip rate column, and like so on. So basically this sum function will tell you how many null values are present in your particular column. Okay, now here is the another function which is not null function. So basically this not null function will will perform like just the opposite of the is null function. It will give you true if the data is not null, and it will give you false if the data is null. Okay, now here is the another function which is null dot sum dot sum. So here are two sums. So basically here two sums will sum all the null values present in our data set, and it will give you answer, which is 352 are total null values present in our data set. Okay, so till here we have analyzed that there are null values for sure in our data set. Okay, so now we have to handle the null value for in our data set. Okay, so there are three methods for handling or filling the null values. So here's the first method, which is you have to use fill any function. Fill any means fill null values, and in between the parentheses you have to mention value equal. Here you can mention any number that you want to fill in the place of null values. So here I mentioned 0 for the mean part, for finding the mean. So here I am using 0. So see, 0 is placed in the place of null values. Okay, here's the 0. So this is the first method for filling your null values. Then comes the second method, which is your method equal pad, which is your forward filling, and this is your third method, which is your backward filling. Okay, so what is forward filling? Basically, see the original data set, see my cursor. So in forward filling, this 15.167 value will going to be filled in forward direction, here, here and here. This is the forward filling. And in the backward filling, 14.308 value, this value will going to become here, here and here. Okay, so this is your backward filling. So this is how you can fill your null values. This is the second. For forward filling, you have to use method equal pad. Okay, and fill any function, all are same. So here is the result, 15.167 value is here, here and here. And in backward filling you have to use method equal bfill, and here is the result, which is 14.308 value is here, here and here. Okay, so this is our backward filling. So till here we have removed the duplicate rows and we have handled our missing values. Okay, now we will transform our data set more. So for transforming data set more, we have to import two basic library more. Okay, so first is import numpy as NP. So basically this numpy library is used to handle the numeric data set. These all are numeric data set. Okay, and second comes from SciPy import stats. SciPy library is another full library which is used for statistical and mathematical calculation in your Python, and it contains many inbuilt libraries which are statistics, stats, regression, linear regression, etc. So you have to import these two basic libraries. Now we will transform our data set more, means we will clean our data set more. So for this, we have to detect the outlier using the IQR method. Okay. So what is outlier first? Outlier is basically the unwanted data that we don't want in our data set. So just see my cursor and here consider y-axis and x-axis of the scatter plot. So what is scatter plot? Scatter plot is a representation of plot in the form of dots. So here is all the dots of your data set value. But if you see here one dot, here one dot, here one dot. So these are basically very deviated from your majority of the data set values. So these are termed as outlier, and this can alter the accuracy for finding your of your data set. So we have to handle this. So this is termed as outlier. So for removing the outlier, we have to use IQR method. So what is IQR? IQR full form is the interquartile range. Okay. So it basically gives you a particular range and your data set value should be in between this range. Otherwise, it will going to be termed as outlier and you have to remove from your data set that. Okay. So basically IQR works in the numeric data type only. So here all are numeric data type, but here if you see observation column, it's in the date time format. So we have to remove this column because IQR will not work in this column. Okay, so for removing you have to use drop function and you have to mention that column that you want to remove. Okay, so this is the column that I want to remove. Here x is equal 1 means, here x is equal 1 means you are changing, applying the changes in the columns part, not in the rows part. If you do here x is equal 0, it will termed as for the rows. Okay, and here in place equal true you have to do for committing the changes permanently. Okay, so here you'll see the result. Here is no observation column. Okay, it means it is deleted successfully. Now this is the IQR fixed formula. Okay, fixed formula. You cannot alter, you cannot change this formula. This is the fixed formula for all data sets. So which is Q1 quartile 1 equals to data 2 dot quantile 0.25 and Q3 which is data 2 dot quantile 0.75 and IQR is Q3 minus Q1. So this is the IQR of each column, IQR range of each column. Okay, it says you that your data set value should be in between 25th percentile till 75th percentile. Okay, otherwise it will be termed as outlier. Okay, and this is your fixed formula for removing the outliers from your each column. So here it says that if your data is less than this formula, 1.5 into IQR is basically setting the walls for the outliers. Okay, it says if your data 2 is less than this and if your data is greater than this formula, dot any, here dot any, just check that this formula will only work in the appropriate values. Okay, and x is equal 1 means we are doing in the columns part. So this says if your data is less than or greater than this formula, then it will be going to be termed as outlier and that will going to be removed from your data set. So here is your result of your clean data set. This is your total clean data set. Here is no duplicate rows, no null values, no outliers. So this is your clean data set. Okay, and this is your basically descriptive statistics of your clean data set. Okay, so yes, this was all your task 2. I'm going to repeat it once again. So basically, first of all, you have to import the pandas library into your Jupyter notebook. Then you have to load a CSV file into your Jupyter notebook. Then you have to use some of the function info, type, describe function for analyzing your data set. Then you have to do the first cleaning part, which means you have to drop the duplicates. Okay, you have to drop the duplicates from your data set. Then comes you have to check duplicate rows from your data set. Then you have to check whether there are null values present or not. Okay, and if there are null values, then you have to fill your null values. This is the first method for filling. This is your second method, forward filling. This is your third method, backward filling. Okay, so after handling your null values, then you have to transform your data set more. Then you have to import these two library again. Then you have to detect the outlier. Outlier is the unwanted data that we don't want in our data set. Using IQR, IQR is basically provide the range that your data set value should be in between this range. Otherwise, it's going to be termed as outlier and we'll have to remove that. Okay. So IQR works only in date time, only in numeric data type, observation containing date time. So we are removing this. This is the fixed formula for finding IQR of each column, and this is the fixed formula for removing the outlier from your data set. So this is basically your clean data set, and this is your proper clean data set descriptive statistics. Okay. So yes, this was all your task 2. I hope